goes after the loose ball to try to save it. He does, in fact, get it, keeps it in play, but he paid for it, struggling right now to get up.
It was a thud when he hit that floor. You heard that boom. The breath went out of that building because they thought that, that was it.
What went through my mind, just hope it wasn't anything too serious. Obviously, if there was something wrong with me anytime you see Larry Bird walks off the court. Something seriously got to be wrong.
Larry Bird's face hit the floor so hard that he knocked himself unconscious for a few seconds. He left the game with a concussion and had a broken bone in his face. And with the Celtics leader out of the game, Chuck Person and the Indiana Pacers smelled blood.
Person's making an issue out of this as Bird is jarring with him.
Thanks, Mike. Yep. And Person will be called with the foul. And Person and Bird have a few words.
Bird again ends up on the floor, and he was pushed by Person.
Person stuffed him and had something to say afterwards. That's the play of the game right there. And look at Bird. Person didn't dare look at him.
It started my rookie year, and first time I touched the ball, my very first game, he said, "Shoot the ball, rookie. Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it." I said, "Okay, I'll shoot it." Wow, like that, and it went in. And I said, "Don't ever tell me to shoot the ball. I shoot it every time." And from then on, it's been a battle in the last 6 years.
Person uses that right arm to get Bird out of the way, and then he drains it, and then he talks to Larry. Trev, Person for three. We're tied up. And he's jawing with Larry Bird again. Person wants the ball against Larry Bird. Count it. The first Indiana lead. Listen to the crowd. He'll pull out and shoot a three. Watch him. Here it goes. That'll be good. It is the Person show.
And when they faced off in the first round of the 1991 playoffs, their underrated rivalry was an intense.
If I'm not mistaken, then he pushes McHale, and he's gone. He's gone. Thompson is gone.
Physical. Hard-fought battle of will.
Chuck Person's doing a little talking to Bird now. And now they're bumping. And he's back to talking, and so's Larry Bird. Person. And when he talks, he walks.
And with the series tied 2 games apiece, Larry Bird, in the 5th and deciding game, gave us one of the most iconic moments in NBA history.
It is one of in the Bird lore, it is one of the top 5 incidents that he did that might have been the last great moment.
Marv, the mood of the Celtics could be described as confident. In fact, this is the 10th deciding game of a playoff series Larry Bird has been involved in. By the way, the condition of his lower back injury remains the same, expecting to play about 40 minutes through pain today. And it has come down to this 5th and deciding game between the Celtics and the Pacers. Bird in the open court over Williams. Pacers down court in a hurry. Larry Bird had some words right in the face of Chuck Person as Person called for the timeout.
Because Larry Bird started the game off hot, you couldn't tell that he was battling a severe back injury and was in a lot of pain.
Larry Bird at this point in his career is now squeezing to the end. It's a ceaseless struggle to get healthy enough to play.
Larry Bird did not play the final 7 games of the season as he decided to sit out and see if he could get his back ready for the playoffs. His back was day to day, and no one knew if he would be able to play in the series.
I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to feel Thursday or Friday. It's just wait and see. It's a game that we're playing right now, and hopefully I'll be prepared to play every game.
I remember walking in the locker room, and I saw Larry before the game, and I said, "How you feeling?" "I'm okay, I guess." Well, he wasn't okay. Guy could barely put his pants on.
He spent the night at the hospital in traction, so he had to be in just unbelievable pain.
Putting his shoulder down that time, actually trying to create off the dribble, which is unusual with the bad back that he has.
As Larry Bird carried the Celtics to a lead in the first half, while already in excruciating back pain. To make matters even worse, with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, Larry Bird took one of the nastiest falls of his career.
Right now.
Larry Bird with 12. And the Celtics lead by 7. 4.5 remaining in this first half. Bird had it knocked away by Sanders. Powers on the recovery. Bird is hurt. Bird is down, and he's hurt.
As Bird goes after the loose ball to try to save it, he does in fact get it, keeps it in play, but he paid for it, struggling right now to get up.
It was a thud when he hit that floor. You heard that boom. The breath went out of that building because they thought that, that was it.
What went through my mind, just hope it wasn't anything too serious. Obviously, if something wrong with me, anytime you see Larry Bird walks off the court, something seriously got to be wrong.
Larry Bird's face hit the floor so hard that he knocked himself unconscious for a few seconds. He left the game with a concussion and had a broken bone in his face. And with the Celtics leader out of the game, Chuck Person and the Indiana Pacers smelled blood.
Don't think the fact that Larry Bird is in the locker room right now isn't helping the Indiana Pacers pick up their level of intensity. They smell it right now. They know the leader is not on the floor. Someone needs to step up now for Boston and take over in Larry Bird's absence.
And Chuck Person with 20 points. The first time this afternoon the Pacers have had a lead.
Well, you're right. Chuck Person was a real force, and there was a lot of back and forth going on.
Person for 3. Yes. From straight away.
And Larry bangs his head on the floor.
I know.
Bang, boom. Has to leave the game. It looks like the ship's going to sink, and we're going to go home in the first round.
Person from downtown. What a shot by Chuck Person. And he gets the treatment from the crowd as he reacted. Indiana with a 3-point lead.
And the cameras are on Larry emerging from the locker room, coming down the corridor. The cavalry is arriving. The crowd sees him. They go berserk.
And here comes Larry Bird. And Michael Williams is covered by Robert Parrish.
I got the sense the Pacers were stunned to see him there, and that they thought, holy what's going to happen now?
Throughout this timeout, they have been standing and cheering since Larry Bird made his way from underneath the tunnel from the Boston locker room. He went out with 4:23 remaining in the second after taking the fall, and he is back in the ball game. Reggie Miller shot rebounded by Bird, who whips it down to Lewis.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
People's pain threshold are different. Some guys will dislocate a finger and go ahead and play with it. Some guys can dislocate a finger and be out 6 weeks. I think it's just something within your body that some guys have a good pain threshold and some don't. But to me, I was just so glad I got the NBA and made it. I didn't want some little injury messing up my whole season, so I tried to play through it.
Bird with the step on Shrep.
When Larry returned, the Celtics went from losing by 3 points to winning by 13 points in a matter of minutes.
But they come right back at you.
Bird on the reverse, and it counts.
I think it's really a mental thing that, Larry's on the court now. Hey, now we got our leader back. We got a big option here we can go to down the stretch during the game, and he's just a big emotional lift when he's on the court too.
3-point play for Bird. Bird ahead of the field. And it's the Celtics by 13.
The fans at that point wouldn't let the team lose because of what Larry was doing.
Sanders at 6'6", giving away 3 inches to Bird, who's trying to post him up through the foul.
The bulk of the work on the defensive boards is always looking down the floor and just gets it out over the top of Reggie Miller. And he's going to lead this group with a little bit of emotion, and then also by taking it strong to the basket, showing them how it's to be done.
Through all of the pain and injuries, Larry Bird came back and led this Celtics team to a victory, proving that there's a big difference between being a good player and being the greatest of all time, because today's players just aren't built like they used to be.
Mike, rarely do you see this kind of emotion from Larry Bird.
No, but Larry Bird is answering the challenge put forth to him by Chuck Person and the Indiana Pacers, and he's letting it all hang out today.
I'm talking about today's player. When you look at Larry in that game, and Bob Hill says he's coming back and be ready for him, would today's player come back in a game like that? Now with load management, where agents and managers are saying you got to take care of your body and your product. And it's true, you know, I mean, your body is your livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Jordan playing with 104-degree temperature.
Yeah.
A courageous, classic performance by the flu-ridden Michael Jordan.
Larry, we just talked about that game, you know, with
Isaiah Thomas against the Lakers in 88, 25-point period on a bad leg.
He's got to be hurting and limping. Thomas goes up, and Isaiah Thomas having an incredible period.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair, but that just isn't there anymore.
Boston 110, Indiana 96. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. Bird again ends up on the floor, and he was pushed by Person.
Person stepping up with the blind screen right in the area that Larry Bird doesn't need, in the middle of the back.
Bird. Yes.
I think 4 or 5 years you'll think back about what he did, or you'll just, you know, you'll go that. I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Have defeated the Indiana Pacers. They won it in 5 to advance to the second round.
You know, I already had a lot of respect for Larry Bird, but the way he played today, you know, it's just like the stuff you tell your kids about. And I told him at the end of the game, I've never seen anything like that.
Truly amazing, and you know, it's courageous and all those other things. And he's the leader. He is the leader of the Celtics, and he will be until he retires.
I've known Chuck for a while, and we've always had run-ins, but it always seems like I get the last word.
A little more than a month ago, they were engaging in a heated NBA rivalry. But for one night, the Pacers' Chuck Person was part of Larry Bird's team. Well, sort of. Bird, sidelined from recent back surgery, could only offer a little good-natured ribbing as the honorary coach.
Chuck works for me in the summer. He mows my yard. So I see him every day. You know, if it wasn't for Chuck, I'd be averaging about 12 points a game over my career. So I have a lot of respect for Chuck, but he, a lot of times he reminds me of a little brother. I want to beat him as bad as I possibly can every time out.
Well, I figure he want me on this team so he'll have a chance to win since he's not playing. So it's unfortunate that he's not playing because I know the people really kind of see him play, but it's great that he can still have a game and be able to attend.
It's hard to imagine a better example of someone playing with pain than what Larry Bird did in that Pacers series, or for the entire NBA season for that matter. Now, like it or not, Larry Bird is getting his well-deserved rest.
Well, I'm not going through another year like I did last year. And matter of fact, it's got to feel pretty good. And you know, whilst I'm not going to sit here and whine around about retiring because I want to play, but I'll just have to see how my back does. And that's very important to me, to have a healthy back for the rest of my life, instead of beating and banging it up for another season.
If Larry Bird can find a way to keep on playing, he will.